grind. Say goodbye to things that you swore you'd never leave behind. Who's calling you to death to when you're unsatisfied? Freedom for security, but even then that's a lie. 'Cause any given moment it could come crashing down. Boss man could throw us out to stabilize another town. So what's there to do? And who's it gonna be? Who will you be holding to in the land of the free? 'Cause they said not with that kind of attitude. No, you ain't getting more your peasant food. Processed meal in a cardboard box. Stardust and glucose, it never seems to be enough. It's got you feeling sick and you ain't sleeping right. Just another burner call reveals the pain to will the fight. So one day we got to talking about the job. Came down the boss but saying think we might be getting robbed. You say you take the risk to dole out your dimes. Pockets full of dollars so you buy away to better times. And he said not with that kind of attitude. No, you ain't getting more your peasant food.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the new song.
So goes the story of the wolf and the lamb, and how they said your family, but never really gave a damn. The fine breads and
Gonna get started here in just a moment.
Lifestyle's not luxurious without the kind of apathy. The blood in the diamond and the flesh in the gold. Yet they feel nothing, yeah, you know the blood is stone cold. You could choke on your rations and beans. You could waste away, they control all the means. 'Cause they say not with that kind of attitude. Yeah, you ain't getting more your peasant food.
our sound was cut off that entire time. And what did I say about shaking the rust off?
Magnificent.
Wow. Yeah. The mute button was on. The sound the whole time.
Well,
awesome.
at least we didn't record audio of like you peeing.
Yeah.
A la
Yeah.
Naked Gun.
We literally weren't saying anything particularly hard hitting, folks. I promise you.
Or interesting.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No, well, basically, I just posited the question to Nat. Do you still feel like you're living in a pandemic? And you had said yes.
Yes, not least of all because we're in cold and flu season. But the difference this year is that I don't have a family doctor. And if I do wind up with a lung infection or something, I am not sure that I can get any relief for it because the walk-in clinics are all like past capacity and turn people away every day, and the online doctor visits apparently aren't a thing anymore. So yeah, no, it's like the pandemic only worse because anything else that is ailing you, you can't fucking get help for anybody. So
yeah,
this is fucked. I'm not happy about this at all.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of like stuck in a rock and a hard place now, right? Because it's like you can't really play the game of trying to mitigate this spread if no one else is on board.
Well,
right?
It's like I can wear and I do wear masks at the grocery store where I go out, but it's like there's just no supports for when you get sick, and there's no support for trying to mitigate risk.
Hello, Katie. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Sorry, you were saying that.
Yeah, there's no support to continue trying to protect yourself and others. Like it's a lot of folks are just so fine with going about things as if this were December 2019. Even despite the horrific state of healthcare. Like, if healthcare had been like this in 2019, we should have been, like, really fucking upset about it, my guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this is bad. This is not good. This is, like, we're fucked.
Yeah. I have nothing further to add to that. Yeah. Like, there's definitely, like, I aim with this show coming into the new year to talk about more, Canadian specific and Ontario specific political stories, because I tend to be like, sort of on like the right wing watch in a lot of ways, which I'll probably keep doing because like not only is that important, but it can be often pretty humorous or cathartic.
And also very relevant to Ontario.
And very relevant to Ontario, unfortunately. And so, yeah, kind of covering that end of things, which I think, I guess we'll touch on in a manner of speaking in a minute. I don't know if anybody would consider him right wing, but I would. Anyway, getting into a lot more like kind of that sort of spectrum of talk. So, definitely going to be talking about Doug Ford healthcare. That's going to be a big subject I want to get into with this show moving forward. And but tonight, like I had said while we were muted, we're shaking the rust off and just sort of riffing it on this one. And it's been a hell of a year, right?
Yeah.
It's been a hell of a year in terms of like not only just like news stories, but like goofy news stories, right? Like just it's been a weird freaking year with just like all the weird shit that has happened. Like I was just thinking today about how it's weird that like the Kanye story has disappeared.
Has it? I mean, honestly,
I don't know if it's disappeared, but like, it was such a big thing, and now it's like not on the radar very, very suddenly. Like,
Well,
we've
I
moved
don't-
on. There's too much craziness.
Well, it's kind of like, what would you continue to focus on with that situation?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, he hasn't done anything else. So it's like, is he just like chilling now?
But like, what would further focus look like if he's not goose stepping down Rodeo Drive?
Rodeo Drive. Sorry, I don't get the reference.
Oh, just bougie
Oh,
LA.
okay. Oh, okay. I'm not hip to the jive, man.
I'm pulling from Pretty Woman from the 80s. Like,
Oh, okay. Guess I don't remember that.
yeah, or from fucking UHF. Yeah. And with the uncle giving money to the aunt.
That
Get
sounds.
yourself
yeah.
something pretty on Rodeo Drive.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
I don't
remember that.
think that I'm
we
like
just watched
that.
that movie pretty recently, so yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't say that my comment has the pulse on its finger on the pulse of the nation. I'm fucking 40 years out of date.
Really, Katie? You think the PR team has Kanye under wrap? This seems like a guy that couldn't get under wraps. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know if it's raps so much as like blow dart burlap sap in a basement.
oh God, yeah. Well, like, how else do you stop him, right? For like even his own good, like, it's yeah. I don't know. I don't want to like because I think it's classic. Two things can be true at the same time because a lot of people talk about like in regards to Kanye the mental health aspect and then like his just like shitty politics aspect, right?
Well, like
and how they're sort of intertwined but they're not really intertwined. Like the thing you have to be careful about saying, right, is like excusing these crazy for lack of a better word anti-Semitic things he's espousing and chalking that up to just like some sort of mental illness and like excusing it in that way. Or
But turns out his anti-Semitism and his shine on Nazism and such isn't new. Like this isn't.
No.
Yeah.
No,
well,
it's
like
not new.
for him specifically.
Yeah,
and so it's
yeah.
not. It's not like he had a head injury and now he is acting completely out of character. Apparently, this is within character. Maybe his filter is just lower right now.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. Like I saw a thing come up in my own like Facebook memories the other day where I was talking about Kanye West like being unhinged, and it was a video from 6 years ago, and I was like, yeah, I guess he's been on this like unhinged shit for a while. At the time I was like being very sympathetic with him because he wasn't saying all this stuff. But it's much harder to be sympathetic, right? Like,
Well, I think it's possible. He's just a fucking asshole.
yeah, like you can be both, not in a good, healthy mental state where you do deserve and need legitimate help in a lot of ways, but also be an asshole. That's the two things are true at the same time,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's I guess that's my take on all the Kanye stuff. If I were to put a neat little bow on it, yeah, that's that wrapped in a nutshell. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, because the pandemic years have been strange all around. Even these Twilight pandemic year or whatever this shit is. Oh shit! I forget where I was going with that. yeah.
I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh god. See, this is what I get for like smoking all that weed before
Nah.
going live, and having a bit to drink. That'll do it. Yeah.
Saying weird pandemic Twilight.
Oh yeah.
news.
No. Okay. Thank you. Got me back on track there. I was remember what I was going to ask about. The Oscars and the slap. Was that this year?
Oh, that was, yeah.
Oh my god. That was this year.
That's probably the least significant thing that happened this year.
Yeah. And I wish it wasn't.
Yeah, I wish it was the boring kind of year where that
I
was
wish
like
yeah. This was supposed to be a boring year. Yes. That would have been nice to have one of those. Like a different kind of boring, not like stuck inside boring, but just like no major news. I mean, like, okay, you had
People
the
are
Oscar
happy
slap,
and stable.
and then like the Russo-Ukrainian war, then became a thing. That's a whole freaking mess. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just it's been a hell of a freaking year.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know. I should check Netflix again, see if they're going to do another Death to
Death to 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really hope they do. I quite enjoyed those this past couple of years.
Yeah, and like, as I was like alluding to earlier, the person I was talking about, like, that I would call right wing, being Elon Musk.
Wait, does anyone not call him right wing?
I don't know. I just, like, I'm willing to bet there's a lot of people out there who don't see him as a particularly right wing person, maybe.
Today?
Like,
Still?
yeah, like there maybe like because there's a lot of ideas amongst certain liberals, I think, and ones that we would probably identify as right-leaning liberals, in this idea that, like, centrism against the woke left, like kind of putting them in that sort of pocket where they're not necessarily conservative or anything. They're just very sensible, middle of the road liberals. And that's why they reject the left wokeism, because, they're just being very practical or something, right? Like I think a lot of people tend to put figures like Elon Musk in that camp. Yeah.
That's my something smells face.
Yeah, I don't know. You can disagree with me on that, but that's more or less my assessment of kind of how people, I think, understand Elon Musk's politics.
Well, you do spend more time on Twitter than I do, so.
I mean, like, mind you, there's a lot of right-wing people who love him, but I don't think they necessarily see him as, like, a conservative amongst themselves. I think, like, they almost see him as secular to politics in a certain way. He's not political. He's just, like, cool and real, and you know what I mean? Like, he's apolitical, man. He's just, like, doing his thing like a boss.
Yeah. But yeah, as, Katie said, Elon.
Yeah, Elon's whole story arc this year, just like completely bonkers. Like what is it here? Let's see if I can pull this up. This will be a good way to get a little visual display here.
Yeah, like a lot of folks did not expect that he actually would buy Twitter, and then just immediately like.
Yeah, like
that is some wild shit. And
let's
then
see here.
This effect that he's had on Tesla stocks. Man.
Yeah, like, come on. that's a yeah, like this it's just like I don't even know how to put it into words, how this guy can just, like, continue to fail, right? Like 10 years ago, I myself, and I think a lot of other people, a lot more people, kind of saw Elon Musk as generally a positive figure.
That's
like,
because we didn't know what he was about.
Yeah. Like, he was, all about the batteries that were going to be in your house, like those big Tesla batteries. Remember that? Like green energy and like fighting climate change. And we kind of saw him as this, like, green energy, Tony Stark, cool guy, right?
Well, joke's on us.
And like, and then he just couldn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
He had to get, like, too much of a fucking ego on him. And this whole thing where he's a lot of the journalists that he did ban are, like, back on now.
Yeah.
But like Keith Olbermann, Matt Binder from Majority Report, and a bunch of others that were basically, being critical of Elon on Twitter, got suspended. And then those same suspended people joined what is called a Twitter Space, where basically it's like a talking room where you have speakers and listeners, and Elon joined and was put under the gun a little bit, couldn't really adequately answer the question. I don't know why he even put himself in that situation, but he did.
Because he keeps putting himself in these situations.
Yeah, like he can't help but to keep stepping in the shit. Like if he didn't have like a total like sort of like ego issue, right? He could have just let that space exist.
Okay, but if he didn't have an ego issue, then literally none of this would be happening.
None of this would be a problem, right?
Yeah.
But like, I think it's just such a shining example, and like he just couldn't help himself but to interject himself into that space, try and speak, and then get owned so fucking hard that he literally disabled the Twitter Spaces feature. I think it's back online now, along with those journalists. But he literally like took it off. Like nobody was doing Twitter Spaces for a few days because of that. Like it's such a childish temper tantrum, and this is the example of ultimate capitalist success that we're kind of impressing on young minds that we pressure to be successful in this capitalist landscape, right? Like we want them to, have a good quality of life. So you got to go and like get the job or be a business owner, entrepreneur, reach for the stars, get your dreams and stuff. And then you look at a guy like Elon, like he's the man who's done all that. I don't know. Like, it's just there's so many layers of bad in the type of worship and power that a fucking maniac like this has.
Well, I mean, like he's just he's the poster boy for failing upwards.
Yeah.
Between him and Trump,
him
like
as a
Jesus
good
Christ.
example, right? It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's like regardless of your character and your morality, if you have money, then you've done well, and so I think this speaks to the lie of that, basically.
We got according to my stats here, 2 people watching live.
Popular.
I don't know who else is here, but if you're here, do say hello if you can. We love to hear from you.
I think there's a bit of a delay between when you say hello and we actually see you, so
yeah.
So just FYI.
Yeah, definitely. Like I noticed in the chat, there's definitely a delay in what's I'm talking about and what they're responding to. And yeah, okay, yeah, we're still the last message. We're caught up on the messages there. So but yeah, that's mainly what I like sort of wanted to riff on for the most part anyway, is is this whole Elon thing and how it's so demonstrative of so many problems. Like, of course, here is professional schmuck Glenn Greenwald going off on Twitter here, complaining about how these, like Aaron Rupar was amongst the journalists that were suspended. So this is a tweet from a few days ago. And Glenn, in defense of these journalists and in defense of Elon, because he's a simp like that, in defense of Elon, whatever happened to private companies have the right to dissociate themselves from anyone they want. Have you heard of terms of service? If you don't like how Twitter does content moderation, start your own social media site. Remember those arguments? Yes, and you are deliberately obfuscating the point of them. It wasn't in defense of the idea that this should be allowed. It's pointing out it's a fundamental problem that this is allowed. It's a fundamental problem that you have private ownership and concentrations of power in such a way where a person like Elon Musk can affect how a huge portion of society consumes media and the voices and the influences that they have access to. Putting that in the hands of private interests. We're saying that it's like, oh, well, like, we were saying it always like, well, it's a private company. He can do whatever he wants. Like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Don't you see the fucking problem with that? That has been the point the whole time. And I find it very hard to believe that Glenn fucking Greenwald doesn't actually understand that. Like, I think he is very often a schmuck on purpose to suck up to the people he wants to suck up to.
And also, Elon didn't create a social media site either. He just bought it.
Yeah, you just yeah.
Like-
As he has anything else that ostensibly
Yeah.
made him successful.
Yeah. So Elon doesn't create things. He buys things and runs them into the ground. Because he can. Because for some reason money gives him the power to do that. Cool. Fuck.
Yeah. Like it goes back to the whole thing about Bill Gates and his education experiments on public education and the effects that had in the USA on how the public education system is funded and ran. And he just basically did it because like I have billions of dollars to throw into these personal projects, and I feel like I'm thus qualified to have this sway
Because money means smart.
and it's like, yeah, maybe you're great with designing computer software or whatever, like Windows, good for you, bud. You should probably have a comfortable living because you invented that. That's I am relatively okay with that idea. Doesn't mean you should have billions of dollars forever coming, kind of like circulating through in this ridiculous financial system. Like,
Yeah, billionaires can all suck my butthole.
yeah,
Y'all are bad people. Every single one of you. If you can maintain your billionaire status, and let's be clear, B is a big difference from M. If you can maintain your billionaire status, you did not earn that, and you are stealing it from society, and you suck.
yeah. Like, $1 million isn't what it used to be, sure, but that's still like a very extremely comfortable amount of money.
Yeah.
$1 million could take you far.
Well, and the idea from when I was growing up is if you got yourself about like $2 million, then you retire on that.
Yeah, you could live comfortably the rest of your life, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Whereas
I don't know
like,
if that's necessarily true anymore.
No, I was gonna say
Yeah.
like I don't know where the math goes, and honestly, I don't expect to be able to retire, so I don't care to check.
Yeah. I don't ever picture having millions of dollars anyway, so
Let alone retirement.
I just doubt that's going to happen for me at this point.
Yeah, like we're just gonna tick along as best we can for as long as we can,
Yeah.
because that is the bleak future that has been left to us, and we are individually powerless, and collectively we can tear it apart brick by brick.
Listen to my new song Peasant Food, now streaming on all services. Pay close attention to some of the lyrics in that song, if you will.
They might be a little bit relevant to what we're all going through right
yeah.
now. A little bit. And by all I mean everyone but Elon Musk.
Yeah. Yep.
I think we should take a little musical interlude break and I'll get a drink. While
Oh yeah, you want to refill? Okay, so yeah, if you haven't heard it yet, or if you have, well, you're about to
Strap
hear
the
it
fuck
again.
in.
Strap in,
Buckle
kids.
up.
Buckle the fuck up. Okay, I'm just gonna go back to the intro screen. I'll be right back in just a few minutes as the new song plays. So please enjoy Peasant Food.
is it gonna be? Who will you be holding to in the land of the free? 'Cause they said not with that kind of attitude. No, you ain't getting more your peasant food. Processed meal in a cardboard box. Stardust and glucose, it never seems to be enough. It's got you feeling sick and you ain't sleeping right. Just another burner cog with bills to pay and a will to fight. So one day we got to talking about the job. Came down the boss but saying, think we might be getting robbed. You say you take the risk to dole out your times. Pockets full of dollars so you buy away to better times. And he said, not with that kind of attitude. No, you ain't getting more your peasant food. So goes the story of the wolf and the lamb, and how they said your family, but never really gave a damn. The fine breads and buttered by humility. Lifestyle's not luxurious without the kind of apathy. The blood in the diamond and the flesh in the gold. Yet they feel nothing, yeah, you know the blood is stone cold. You could choke on your rations and beans. You could waste away, they control all the means. 'Cause they say not with that kind of attitude. Yeah, you ain't getting more your peasant food.
All right, we are back. My next song was about to play there. Yeah, if you can find the Rough Go on YouTube, of course, like not just this channel, but there's also the Rough Go music. It's on Spotify. It's on was it Deezer? I don't know. Deezer is apparently a popular one. I don't think in North America. I don't know what part of the world uses Deezer, but apparently it's popular. You didn't get me one?
I thought that you went up yourself.
No, I was just chilling down here. I thought you were getting me. Oh, man.
What we have
This is
here
a
is a
bummer.
failure to communicate.
Yes.
No.
And and I like to boast, as a like the polyamorous couple that we are, how important communication is.
And sometimes you just don't work.
Yeah. It still happens.
No.
Still happens.
No. And I love you anyways.
I blame you slightly more than myself in this situation.
I blame you for blaming me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair. I can take responsibility for that. I have heard your criticism. I'm receiving it.
And I have boofed it.
And I've stuck it right up my ass.
Up to the knuckles.
Knuckles. Wrist, baby.
Ooh.
Wrist.
That's some good boofing, baby. We're mature.
Yes. Very mature.
Hmm.
We're
All right, what else do you want to talk about?
Yeah. What else did I have here?
So speaking of boofing it,
Speaking of boofing it,
I feel that'd be a good segue. I don't know what you're going on to.
I've talked about. I'm just going to talk about this briefly because it's like to me, it's sort of like a mask off moment sort of thing, where I've talked about Kareem Assad before on this show.
Yeah, so speaking boofing it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess, yeah. Speaking of just putting it right up your ass. There's a bit of an esoteric Twitter rabbit hole because as I've said before, she's a bit of an odd character in that, like, if you just look at a lot of the media that she puts out there, she seems like kind of a fairly reasonable-minded, I guess, liberal person, kind of challenging anti-vaxxers and challenging conservatives and being anti-Doug Ford and things like that. But there's kind of this like seedy underbelly to it all. I think like even the last episode I did before this one, back in April, I think was the last time I might have done a live stream, talked about this in greater detail. But to kind of show the mask off moment in terms of like where her interests lie and how it's kind of like, seedy in that it seems to buddy up to these right-wing figures and wanting to inject herself into these situations and sort of make herself the main character while, buddying up to the very people that she ostensibly claims to criticize. And anyway, as this tweet says here, the absolute entitlement and audacity of this, I won't repeat the word, filming drag event protectors while ignoring protesters of the drag event. Watch how she tries to ID two protectors, even ripping the trans flag from their hands, shoving a camera in their face and laughing. Sickening. So this is her and her cameraman. A lot of people say this is her romantic partner as well. I won't speak to such rumors. I guess I shouldn't have said that in the first place. Anyway, that's for you to read about on Twitter if you want to go down the rabbit hole, like this particular user, Jane Q Citizen. If you want to check out their tweets, feel free. They go into some detail of this person here to their account, Vancouverism. I follow them, and they talk a lot on this subject. But anyway, this particular footage where it's like, yeah, whose side are you on and what do you think you're doing? Kind of thing.
You have 180 degrees of freedom, motherfucker.
But I'm choosing to go this way. I'm choosing to exercise my freedom and go this way. So you have no basis. They are now blocking the sidewalk. That's fine. I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. But we do have their shoes.
So she's trying to film them and get in their face.
Oh,
like,
gotcha, sucker.
like,
Okay, but you're gonna have to move now.
like, what part of this is do you think is making you look cool, Karima?
Well, also,
like,
to what end? Like, what is your purpose here?
Yeah, like, why are you hassling them? What are you there for? Like, and then what is it? She has me blocked because when I first made a video involving some of her video that she took of like anti-vaxxers and stuff like that, I was kind of like, oh, cool, somebody who shows up to film the anti-vaxxers. And then I learned a little bit more. And then I started criticizing her a little bit, and then she blocked me. So I got a heel reception at Brockville Public Library. This is like Bret Hart walking down the ramp in America, comparing it to pro wrestling, as she tends to do. Like, this is all a big, like, fun little show to her, right? She doesn't appreciate the fact that, like, the people on the left, the people who are being hassled by these right-wing protesters showing up at these drag events, that she's getting a very cold welcome, or an anti-welcome, if you will. You are not welcome. Legitimately, I think literally in another video that I saw, somebody you are not welcome here, Karima, is quite literally a thing that is said at this event. Like, if you are being received in that way, that's got to make you stop and think, right? About what you're doing. But this is how you react to it. It's so, I don't understand how this person has fans, to be honest. It's just also off-putting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm also tired of literally everyone's shit, and so I'm so tired.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. The Surf's tweet about banned users who are capable of attending Twitter Spaces, and then Elon removes the entire Twitter Spaces feature. That is the rough timeline of how that went down. So yeah, fun times. So yeah, we're gonna be coming back in the new year with more of this and fun times
in a whole fucking album
and a whole freaking album that's coming out next year. Hopefully not too deeply into next year.
I won't allow for it.
Yeah. I do hope to actually ultimately have a proper release in the early spring. Get everything done before then, and then focus on actually releasing it properly, so to speak. And so keep an eye out for that, and more songs and content and things like that trickling down as time goes on. But yeah, go on and listen to Peasant Food, like it, share it. Tell me what you think of it. I love to hear your reactions and your thoughts. That's and I think that's basically it for tonight's episode. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah,
I'm tired of 2022. I'm tired of capitalism. I'm tired of Doug Ford. I'm just tired. So let's go and regroup.
Yeah, and so if you do tune in, if you are watching this on YouTube later, I hope you skipped the first few minutes when we were accidentally muted and talking to no one as a result. Just talking to each other with video and no sound.
Katie really digs the song. Right.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Katie. Excellent. Thank you. I love hearing that. I haven't heard any bad opinions yet, but I'm open to them. It's interesting to hear somebody who hates what you do, but I don't get a lot of that, to be quite honest. If somebody's hating on what I do, it's because I disagreed with them on Twitter or something, and they're just gonna be like, "Your music sucks," and it's like, okay, that's not real criticism. I'm not gonna worry about that too much.
It's like, look, does it suck? Does it blow? Are you boofing it?
Yeah. No, I'm more interested in things like, I wish that that certain instrument was louder or had more reverb on it, or technical things like that, or just from just a pure enjoyer of music on a non-technical level, like what you liked about, the hook of the song or whatever, things like that.
Or if someone needs to tell you that sonically it made them want to punch themselves in the face.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Somebody on, what is it? TikTok. That's the one. The Tiki-Talkie. Here, I'm going to switch screens there. Someone on TikTok said it had a lot of texture, which I enjoyed hearing because that's kind of what I was going for. I put a lot of from a production level, a lot of sort of tape saturation sort of effects on it and things like that in certain spots to make it sound nice and creamy like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's I feel so awkward now. I forgot how to end an episode. I don't think I've usually I have a better exit strategy.
Go fuck yourself, San Francisco.
Reporting live from Ottawa. I am Jimmy Ruffian. This is Nat Prince. This is the Rough Report. And we'll be back in the new year with much more. Thanks for tuning in live to those who did.